This is lesson 70. We are reducing fractions before multiplying. Before two or more fractions are multiplied, we might be able to reduce the fraction terms even if the reducing involves different fractions. For example, in the multiplication below, we see that the number 3 appears as a numerator and as a denominator in different fractions. We see here it's a 3 as a numerator, and here 3 as a denominator. This means it has a common factor, and we can cross it off, taking a 3 out of each, making it equal to 1, which we see down here. This is reducing it to its lowest terms by taking the greatest common factor out of each one. This will help us to avoid reducing in the end. Remember, if you forget this step, or if you don't reduce it to the lowest term, it just means you'll have to reduce the answer at the end. It doesn't mean you'll get it wrong. So just do your best. Let's look at example 1 first. We're going to simplify 5/6 times 1/5. When they say simplify, it means reducing or canceling before we multiply. If you notice, they already did this part of it. They said 5 and 5, there's a common factor there, and they'll take a 5 out of each one, making it equal to 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 1 is 6. They looked at it and said 1 and 6 do not have a common factor, so you would leave those alone. Your answer will be 1/6. At example 2, we have 1 and 1/9 times 1 and 1/5. When you have a fraction that's really a mixed number, remember you have to times it and add it. Times it and add it. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Let's look for some common factors. 5 and 10 have a common factor of 5. So we'll take a 5 out of 5 and it's 1, a 5 out of 10 and it's 2. 6 and 9 have a common factor of 3. Take a 3 out of 6 and it's a 2. You take a 3 out of 9 and you have 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. You can't leave it as an improper fraction, so 3 goes into 4 once with a remainder of 1/3. Your answer is 1 and 1/3. Looking at example 3, we see simplify 5/6 divided by 5/2. Remember, leave it, times it, flip it. So we do 5/6 times 2/5. Now let's look for some common factors. We have 5 and 5. We can take a 5 out of both, which equals 1. 2 and 6, we can take a 2 out of each one. 2 out of 2 is 1. 2 out of 6 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's call this the short way. If we were to do this the long way and not cancel, let me show you that you wouldn't get it wrong, you just might get a different answer first. 5 times 2 is 10, 6 times 5 is 30. Now you'd find the greatest common factor to reduce, because you notice that they both have a 0, which means they can be reduced, and they're both even numbers, so they can be reduced. I think looking at the factors 1, 2, 5, and 10, 1, 2, 5, 3, 6, 10, 15, and 30, our greatest common factor is 10. So let's take a 10 out of both. 10 into 10 is 1. 10 into 30 is 3. So you still get 1/3 as an answer. This is just called the long way. Looking at the practice set, they're asking you to reduce before multiplying, which equals the short way. Looking at D, E, and F, remember you need to multiply and add. Multiply and add, changing it from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Looking at these problems, you need to leave it, times it, flip it. Do these problems for practice.